All right, here we go. It is a season in review. Big Pooh, we have a two-time Super Bowl champ in the house. Dexter Manley joins the show today. Dexter, how are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
Now we appreciate you coming on. It's not the season I think we were hoping for. It's what we got. What are some of the good things you think you'll take away from this season that we just had?
Can you speak up? I can't hardly hear you.
Sure. I said it wasn't necessarily the season we were hoping for,
Right.
but they ended up with the same amount of wins. How will you look back on this season, Dexter?
Well, I tell you this, that I'm proud the way Ron Rivera sort of had the discipline on his football team. And I think that was a big part of it. That was one of the reasons Dan Snyder and Tony Snyder wanted to bring him in, because I think years before that, they were undisciplined, and I think Ron Rivera made a big impact. You know, he got rid of some guys that show up late for meetings and things of that nature, got in trouble off the field, and so that was important to this organization to get them back on the right track and be respectable in the community.
Dexter, we know, so from your answer, we know you appreciate the discipline and you think they're on the right track, but what are some of the things you take away from this season where you say, okay, we need to improve in this area or that area?
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, what are some of the ways you think that they can improve as they move forward?
Yeah, good question. I think that it was a lot of hype and a lot of expectations for the defense going into this season. They just didn't man up. They didn't stand up to the expectation, I would say, of the media, because they the one sort of gave them the hype. But I just think they're going to have strong pass rush from the front seven. They didn't get that this year. And we lost the quarterback that Ryan Fitzpatrick. What's his name?
Yeah, Fitzpatrick.
You had it, Fitzpatrick. Yep.
Patrick, we lost him, which I think, not that it was a good thing, but he got hurt. But I also feel that Tyler Heineken, he played with a lot of zeal. He has a tenacity to win. But you got to get you a quarterback in the draft. Whether it's in the draft or whether it's one that's out there in the free agent market. I thought the offensive line blocked well, and they need another receiver to complement Terry
McLaurin.
What's his name?
McLaurin.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin, and that's what I think. I just think they got to do better, particularly on third down. And the defense got to get off the field on third down. They stay on the field too long. Too many long drives.
But Dexter, with those defensive linemen that we have, has the NFL gotten to the point? Is it too easy to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands fast? What does that do for the defensive ends? You know,
when I was in the league, you had people like Dan Marino, very hard to get to. As soon as the ball touches his hand, it's out of his hand because they run short routes. That's to keep the defense. What's the word I'm looking for? You don't get a whole lot of pressure. You get your hand up in his face, but you don't get the sack. You don't hurry the quarterback. And it's all about timing. See, and now these offenses set to throw at a spot. Not at a receiver, they throw at a spot. That means that receiver has to get to that spot. And I just think that what was your question?
So is it too easy to get those defensive ends out of position because of the quick passing game? Like what do our defensive ends have to do, you know, to get it out so fast?
Yeah. I think for a defensive end coming off the right or the left, you probably 3 or 4, I don't know, not by yards, but still you have a nice way to go to get to the quarterback. The best thing you can do is get you a nice push and put your hands up in front of the quarterback. You won't get a sack. as soon as the ball touches his hand, you get rid of the ball. It's just like New England Patriots when Tom Brady was there. When that ball touches his hand, it's out of, he runs short routes and he releases the ball. But I just think the defense is going to have to, those defensive ends, what they would have to do is get a good push on an offensive tackle and put your hand in his face. And you got to get some people up the middle too. It's difficult when you have an offense like that. I tell you this, I sacked every quarterback in the National Football League when I was playing, but I never sacked Dan Marino because I got rid of the football.
Oh yeah.
Now I might hit him when the ball is gone. I got right there, and I gave him a club. But other than that, though, I don't think I ever sacked Dan Marino. He's the only quarterback I didn't sack. And I was in the National Football League.
Dexter, what advice would you give to Chase Young and Montez Sweat as they, young D ends, talented but young D ends?
They are talented. I would say that you got to stay level-headed. Don't get so much caught in outside noise and what the engagement, this and that, because your livelihood is football. And I think that sometimes these guys get a lot of the community throw things at them, wanting to sort of promote their product, and you sort of get away from football. My best thing to do is you got to train year-round. Football is not a 6-month sport. It's a year-round sport. In the offseason, you got to train. You got to know how to train. And I think that's key, is that staying healthy. And, it's all about getting your proper rest and staying healthy. And I think that when you're a young player, like me, I was a prize bull when I came in the league in 1981. So that means I stayed healthy. Yeah. And I got my sleep, and I just kept myself. I think that's what these guys do. And just have a tenacity to get to the quarterback and stop the run.
Did you have a favorite?
About getting to the quarterback to stop the
run. Did you have a favorite move to use to get to the quarterback, Dexter?
Pardon me?
Did you have a particular move you like to use more than others to get to the quarterback?
Well, the game was all about speed. Speed on both sides of the ball. And I had the speed to, you got that tackle. I want to get behind his heel. I want to beat him behind his heel when that ball is snapped. That means that I got a chance I will beat him. So I have to use my speed. These guys got to know how to work on their speed. See, I see a lot of guys jogging. Football ain't jogging. Bam, bam, bam. It's quick. Start all over again. I just think that the guys got to learn how to train, and then they can be more sufficient about their profession. Maybe they'll become a great football player.
Dexter, with all the success you experienced when you was in Washington, has it been tough watching the team not perform as well as fans and former players would like?
That's a good question. I moved back here in 2004. I used to get in my feelings when they wouldn't play well. They lose a game. I watched the game, and so I got to the point I stopped watching. Not stopped watching, but I didn't watch all the games. And so I found myself getting emotionally upset, and it carried over into my day. I have a wife, and I'm irritated with her. And so now what I do, I sort of remove myself. I'm not a homer. I used to be a homer. I'm not a homer anymore. So I just let the chips fall where they may and take my emotions out of it.
Are you interested at all? Are you curious what the new name will be? And did the organization reach out to you guys, the former alumni, at all about the new name?
Well, they're going to announce the name on February the 2nd. I have no idea what the name will be, but I'm sure that as a consensus, they've got they have the chillers out there from each part of four corners of this Washington D.C. metroplex. I have no idea what it be, what the team look like. But whatever it will be, I'm sure that players going to embrace it, former players going to embrace it, and they're going to move forward.
So can I say at the top of your priority list for next season, or as we go into this off season for this team, do you believe the top priority is a quarterback, or is it? Go ahead.
Top priority would be quarterback, and you got to have some backup. I don't think that they have the backup they want to have. First man go down, you got to have another man step up. I think they need quarterback. They always need offensive linemen, and you got to have pass rushers. When Chase went down, and then you had Martell Sweat went down, they hardly had no pressure. So you got to look at you got to have cornerbacks. But I think the number one priority will be quarterback, a few offensive linemen, and cornerback. And maybe a couple more pass rushers.
Were there a couple of tackles that you can recall that when you saw you were going up against them in a particular week, you said, oh, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this one?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tell you one thing. The one I thought was the best tackle in football was Jimbo Covert. Who does Jimbo Covert play for? Who did he play for? You guys know?
No, have no idea.
Well, Jimbo Covert played for the Chicago Bears. He came out. He was there with Mark May, Russ Graham, and Jackie Sherrill, and those guys. And he was a hell of a football player. I like going against him because Jimmy the Greek rated him high. John Madden rated him high. And when you have that, so competition rises up. And I just knew that. See, it's hard to stop speed. You can't stop speed. And that's what I had. Speed, get around that corner, get upfield. And if he upfield with me, I spin back inside. I get so deep where I can spin back, and I'm right there at the quarterback. So we had a lot of battles. We had battles in the regular season, plus in that playoff game in 1987 when we played them in Chicago. I had a great day against them. Number one, we won. And hey man, I did my job. I don't want to, but I did my job. I tell you what, it was a 3rd and 2 in the middle of the field. They gave the ball to Walter Payton. I stuffed him. The game was over. We took possession of the ball. We ran the clock out. We won the game. And so that's the kind of stuff and Jimbo Covert was in front of me. So I shot the gap. Low man win. I got lower than him. I shot that gap, came up, and I dumped. If you look at the film, you'll see me on that 3rd and 2. And I stopped Walter Payton. That was his last time touching the football. He went sit on that bench and ducked his head, and it was all over with.
All over. Who was your favorite quarterback to sack? Was it Troy Aikman or Phil Simms? Please tell me it was one of them.
Yeah, my favorite quarterback to sack, I will put it in this order. Number 1, Joe Montana, because he was considered the best. Number 2, it would be Dan Marino. I never got to him. Number 3, I would say Danny White. Because they're supposed to have been the America's team. They get 30-something, 40 million people watch them on every Sunday. Who wouldn't want to sack Danny White when 40 million people watching and take his head off? So those were my favorite. And I like getting to Jim McMahon because he was a trash talker and he's from Brigham Young. And I know that I came from the Big 8. The Big 8 was the best in the country. I don't know where he came from, Brigham Young. That's not real football to me. And so, but I got to him, and he was one of my favorites because I could talk trash. We call each other names.
Do you still travel to Super Bowl week?
No, I don't go to any Super Bowls. My wife wants to go to not this one coming up. The next year, one's gonna be in. They got they have, anytime you build a new stadium, that's where they put the Super Bowl. So they got a couple of Super Bowls coming in California, and she's good for. Well, she knows Debbie Allen and those people, so she wants to take me to California. The Super Bowl is going to be in California.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Dexter, before we let you out of here, who do you see going to the Super Bowl this year?
That's a good question. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills, and I believe it's going to be the Buffalo Bills and the Green Bay Packers.
Mm.
Now, who do you see?
Kansas City and the Packers.
That's another one. Kansas City. Yeah. Well, I think Green Bay, one of the hot teams in the NFL this year. San Francisco didn't look good just last week.
It was nice to see Trent get a playoff win.
Pardon me?
It was nice to see Trent Williams out. I mean, I wish he was still here, but it's nice to see him get a win. Yeah.
Trent's happy now. Bruce Allen not around, so Trent's happy.
Whole lot of people happy Bruce Allen not around.
Well, I like Bruce, but I think some of the players didn't necessarily like the way he do business. But I know Trent Williams did because of Scott McCloughan. You remember he was the general manager, and things went south. But Trent Williams is a hell of a football player. He's a great pass protector. He don't have a whole lot of physical ability, but he can wall you off and have that back hit that seam. He's not gonna knock nobody off the line of scrimmage. He's not like a Joe Jacoby gonna knock you off, but he gonna pass. He gonna dance in front of. See, offensive tackle got to be able to stay in front of you. That's being a good dancer. That's what he can do.
I'm a horrible dancer. Dexter, we appreciate the time today. Had a blast.
All right, thanks for having me. And don't forget to send a check in the mail.
We got you.
Gotcha. All right.
You can't keep making faces.